And welcome to an episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest of the evening is a talented recording artist. This is his fifth album. He's here to talk about it with us. It's called Bella Luna. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the one and only Silvestry. Welcome to the show, bro. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very, very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
First, I thank you for being so patient while I had my technical difficulties here. I appreciate you so much.
It's okay. It happens.
So talk to me about this album. I was listening today. I had my own private listening party with my wife.
Uh,
She said to say hi and that you remind her of Mark Anthony.
what a compliment.
Um,
funny, funny story. Since you mentioned him, one of my girlfriends mentioned to me while I was working on this album, and she was telling me that she knew of Mark Anthony when he was trying, to make it in the industry, and he had started doing English music.
mm,
And people were always telling him, you should do Spanish music, give Spanish music a try. You never know what happens. And then he put out some Spanish stuff and blew up.
mm.
And I feel like, I don't want to compare, but I feel like we're on that road right now.
I mean, the talent is there. I mean, your first single, Belladonna, which is undeniably great from the moment it starts to the middle, which is my favorite part, which is totally unexpected because when I first learned of you and met you, you had your it's called Three, right? Your fourth
Yeah.
album, which was amazing, right? Remedy was one of my favorite songs. It was different dynamic. This one is more like vivid.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your experience making this album?
So I started when I was working on my project three, the fourth album. Um, in the process of that, I had two Spanish songs. Well, one of them was Spanish, Malas Intenciones, and the other one was bilingual, Remedy, which was English and Spanish. And
Right.
while I was working on that album, I reached the amount of Spanish songs that I wanted to put on that album. And in that process, I had been working on Buscando un Amor. So I thought about putting Buscando un Amor on the last album, but I kept telling myself no, like I want to work on a fully Spanish record. And so I released it as a single while I was working on the album three, and then I released three. And one of my girls, I call her Mama Duke. She's like a mother to me. And she actually we collaborated on a song together, Purple Skies, Cielo
which is a
Viola.
one, which is an amazing song as well.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So she was the one that was like kind of pushing me, to release a Spanish album. And so I started just composing and writing. I tend to like write in English because it's my primary language. But when I was working on this album, I was like trying to break myself out of that.
Yeah.
And even so, like, as you've heard, there's a few bilingual songs on there, or like
Yes.
I
Yes.
write in Spanish and then I threw in like a few English keywords, and the, all of like now the album's out. It was a year in the making, and maybe a little over a year, because I started working on Buscando un Amor during the process of releasing the album three. So a little over a year in the making. And I'm just so ecstatic that it's finished, that it's out. This body of work, I've never been more proud and more sure of an album. Like when I have people listen to my stuff, I'm very like shy and timid. If I'm
Right.
listening to it in front of them, like my thoughts start to get all crazy. Like, oh my God, what if they don't like it? What if this doesn't really sound right? But with this album, I don't feel that at all. I'm like, hey, listen to this.
Yeah. Yeah. You're excited. I mean, like let's talk about the first one, like Bella Luna. I liked it because in the middle of the track, it's like some reggaeton lembo, which is
Yeah.
so different, and but it's a good different. You
I
know,
love that song.
I can only I can only say like Puerto Ricans say te quedó cabrón.
Thank
Te quedó
you.
cabrón.
Thank
That's
you.
when I heard that, man, I feel like a wrestling fan. I just popped up. Like it was good. It's good. Um
Thank
then
you.
I listened to track 13. Is Joe J
LJR.
yes, which is
Yeah.
another special song that captivated that moment when I was listening to it. What inspired you to do Bella and track 13?
So Bella Luna is more like you said, it has that reggaeton, a little dembow feel to it. Lyrically, don't judge me. I wrote that song about my dog. Her name is Bella Luna.
Wow.
And it was a weird twisted love story. She's no longer in my life.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was they're growing pains. I did what I had to do for the both of us. And she's happy where she is now. She's comfortable. But I wrote that so a few of those lyrics were actually in my first Spanish album, and I kind of wanted to tweak that because my first
Yeah.
Spanish album was very Christian, faith based.
Yes.
And I wanted to turn those sentiments, that you feel towards God, because God is love.
Yes.
And I feel like the only biggest love I've ever felt in the world was for, my Luna. It was the most pure, authentic, real, and genuine love. I've never felt a love like I felt for her in any relationship and any friendship, and vice versa. The way that she'd given it to me, it was just like, I never felt anything
It
like
was
this.
like
And so I
she was
wanted to
like your
convert
child.
that. Yeah. And I wanted to convert that into song. And like people listen to it now and they're like, yo, like, so what girl is that song about? Like, it's about a girl, all right.
Yes, yes.
Um, but it's you can literally like sing it at a wedding or a sweet 16, a quinceañera, like
It's a
dedicated to
catchy
your
song.
love.
It's a catchy
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, and I love, the fact that like me as a man, I'm singing it towards, someone that is feminine.
Someone that
It's
you love. That's I
yeah,
think that's the most important part. It could be a man, woman,
yeah,
alien, I don't know, but it's something that you love and meant so much
yeah,
to you. And I think that's what I felt when I heard the song.
yeah. When I wrote it from a place of pure, authentic, and genuine love. And then LJR, track number 13, when I was writing that, um, I don't want to talk too much about that story because we're still healing from
Mm,
it.
hey, I
But
feel that.
it was a very I knew that I wanted to do so I love like Afrobeat kind of music,
Hmm.
like very tropical, Caribbean, but still like with the Spanish flavor in it. To me, that's what
Yes,
Afrobeat is. It's like
yes.
tropical Caribbean, but it still has like
But in it,
Spanish Latin
you know,
flavor.
I enjoy when you do create music like that because that's who you are.
Yeah.
That's you're you can be the life of the party.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
and I think like I remember sending you a long time ago, you should do like music that are meant for stadiums, that are meant for like give life. I think you when you do music like that, well, look at Bella Luna. I keep saying it because it's that good in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel the whole album, like not to toot my own horn, is that good.
Yes, yes.
Like I'm excited to see where this is going to bring me because I know that what's about to happen is huge.
I know. Yeah, I concur. You have also you're also like you're not just singing in and you got some small parts in Spanish and English, but you also speak another language. Would you kid so the listeners you're surprised?
Italian.
Yes.
So when I was in high school, in chorus class, the teacher used to have us sing songs in Italian from like Celine Dion and Josh
Mm,
Groban, and it was a language. Andre Bocelli was another one. It
yes.
was a language that I've always admired and respected, and I wasn't taught Spanish at home. I learned in school, and like thinking back on it, like I don't regret taking Spanish class because I'm pretty good at it now. And it's gotten me a lot of work too. But like I think about it and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have taken Italian because the language, although is very similar to Spanish, it's such a beautiful language. It's so beautiful. And like I listened to a variety of everything. I had listened to French pop, Italian, modern classics,
Yeah.
new stuff, old stuff, Spanish music, of course. I listened to Russian music. I listened to a little bit of everything. But like for years, I've always thought about putting out a song in Italian. And what better moment to do it now that I'm producing my own stuff? So there are three songs on the album in Italian. Soluzione, which is a remake of Remedy from my last album.
I'm glad you confirmed that because when I first heard it, first of all,
Yeah,
you sound wonderful.
thank
I'm
you.
not sure it's your first time recording a project in Italian, but it sounded wonderful. And because I was able to almost understand it, but also like know where you're coming from, like its base, like man, I liked it.
Yeah,
I loved it in a sense.
thank you. So I went to high school with a girl. Her name is Juliana Joya, and she is featured on that song. It's a collaborative song. So she is also Puerto Rican and Italian, and she sings it beautifully. She writes it beautifully.
Shout out
She's
to her.
gorgeous inside and out. Like you see this girl, she turns heads in the street. And so we've had a very good friendship for years. We've always, supported each other in our careers. And after I graduated high school, the following year, she left New York and moved out to California, and she landed a record deal with a company that I won't mention. Um, but she was, I mean, having studio sessions with 50 Cent, G Unit. She was writing for like major artists. She was getting her songs herself. Like they were building a brand of her and getting her songs into Marry Me with Lucy Liu, Mean Girls 2, Dancing with the Stars. Like her stuff was getting out there. And I remember, this was when we were teenagers. I remember, and I told her this too, like seeing where she was in life. And that was what I wanted.
Mhm.
And there was like a jealousy, but it wasn't a jealousy like out of envy. It was a jealousy of like, damn, she's doing this. Like, I want to do this too. Like, I want this so bad. If she can do it, I can do it too. If she can have it, I can have it too. And so when I presented this project to her, Soluzione, I had shared how I was feeling about like, the experience with her. And she told me, Johnny, she says, it's not all that it's painted out to be. She's like, I look at you and what you do now, how you compose your own music, you write your own stuff, you release what you want when you want it, you do your own music videos, you release them when you want, you wear what you want, you're doing whatever you want with your music. And she was like, I'm jealous of you. She's like, I wish that that opportunity was given to you back when we were teenagers because you would have been more ready than I ever would have been. And I was just like, no, it happened the way that it was supposed to
Mhm.
because it literally gave me this hunger and it gave me this drive. And I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing now, if a label had scooped me up and they were literally pouring everything into my lap. It's like if you want it, you have to go out and get it.
Yeah.
So I had given her complete liberty to write what she wanted. I wanted to translate Remedy from English into Italian. And then it was her idea to actually keep the chorus in Spanish. So the very last chorus of the song is in Italian, but she stuck she stayed true to the majority of the song, but
Hmm.
her as a songwriter too, like she put her own twist into a few of the lines, and she made the track incredibly like beautiful. I wish that I would have thought about it for my last album, because it like this was the touch that Remedy needed to be
Yeah.
Italian and Spanish. It's beautiful. And then the other two songs are my single Purple Skies that I recently released. Um, I reached out to my friend from Sicily, and his name is Stefano Germanata. And he's a very popular artist on social media. He does a lot of cover songs for popular artists, and he translates them into Italian, and then he does music videos and he posts them on social media. Very popular for this, and the people love him. So I came across his not that I came across, because we were already, I was following him, but I reached out to him one day and I told him, hey, I'm working on my Spanish album and I'm looking to have, something different for it. And I would love to translate a few of my songs into Italian. And the one, that we finally decided would be a good fit was Purple Skies, which is Cielo Viola. And I mean, this guy did justice. He kept the lyrics true to what they were in English. And, very few things he had to tweak just so that it flowed, more poetically.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, Purple Skies is like one of my favorite songs that I've ever written, because it came from a place where I was so selfless, to empathize and feel someone else's pain. The song is about a mother and a father that lose their child. And so the song talks about, like, when you look at the sky, like, your child is there looking at you. And, it talks about missing your child and the
Yeah.
hurt and the pain and the tears, but knowing that they comfort you every time you look at that sunset, your child is still with you. So I feel like, it's such a beautiful message because I have it in English, and now I can reach people from, halfway across the world who have had to experience the pain of losing their child.
Are you able if you can't understand, are you able to share how was that song developed?
So my friend Cami Wolf Rice, who I mentioned earlier, I call her Mama Dukes. She wrote a book. She was in the process of writing a book called The Flight. And she calls me one night and she's like, hey, so I have this idea, I'm writing a book about my son, Christopher. And, it's about like opioid awareness and
Mm.
how to she's got like a nonprofit organization where she's got people that work in different hospitals, who are like counselors for people who are being prescribed opioids, and they're like literally counseling them how to use it and how to kind of lean off of them
Yeah.
because they're so addicting, and this is how people are losing their children, their family members, their parents, their, anyone, their partners. And so she tells me she's writing this book and that she wants to release a song with the book. So when you scan the QR code on the book, it'll bring you to, a musical playlist where you can listen to songs that, her son loved. But she wanted something like authentic and original for the release of the book. And so we were talking one night until about like 2 in the morning, and I was asking her, I had a little pen and paper next to me, and I was like, I want you to tell me everything about Christopher. Tell me, the things that hurt you, the things that make you smile, the things you still hold on to. And I would cry. She told me, um, she said, one of the things that she told me, and I kept it in the song, and it's the part that says, I still wrap your shirt around me just to feel like you are holding me.
Wow.
And I was just like, for a mother to hold on to something like that, from her son, just to feel that he's still there. Um, like I wanted that to be in the song. And there were like a few other things that she said, but while we were talking, his favorite color was purple.
Wow.
And while we were talking, I just had like an epiphany, and I was just like, purple skies, like that's going to be the name of the song, purple skies. Like I knew in my soul that that's what the name of the song was going to be. And over the next few weeks I was writing, and um I did it. And it's, to me, it's my, I can't even tell you how many songs I've written, probably a little more than 100. And that is my absolute favorite. And the fact that it's now in Italian, like I love it even more. It's such a beautiful song. So on the album, we have the original version, which is like an acoustic, very
Yeah.
soft pop. And then there's also a dance remix of the song, because everybody loves, a happy, sad song, something that'll really like, make you
Move.
move and make you
Yeah.
feel.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
first of all, thank you for sharing. I know that having that courage to, it's not just having courage to write it, but also courage to deliver something that excels expectations. And I
Yeah.
know, I know you reached out the first time you did it. It was amazing,
And that was the thing too. It's like I love Cammy, to me she's like the mother I never had. And I wanted to deliver something of quality, but something so meaningful and so emotional. And we released a music video for that song too in English. And the storyline of that too was just so beautiful. There's a picture of her son that I'm painting in like a lake. In
Yeah.
the video I'm like an artist, and it's just such a sentimental song and such an emotional music video as well.
So was
Thank
it
you.
the other songs, was it difficult for you to translating as well in Italian?
There were only two. So, I gave Stefano the liberty
Got it.
to, translate, but I told him I want it to be like very close, because he told me that he would have to change very few things just to make it more poetic so that it flowed and made sense in Italian. And Juliana as well. But like again, these people are both songwriters. They write songs, so they know what flows and what fits. And like
Yeah.
looking at the translations and going over them, like
Could you
I
feel it? Could you feel it?
yeah,
Because it's like you're singing in a different language that it's not your native one. So like words like love, if you don't know what love is, you're not gonna say it with passion like you would sing it
yeah,
in
yeah.
your original language. Was that a challenging thing for
I
you?
I haven't sang Purple Skies yet live, Cielo Viola, but I have sang Soluzione at a few events. And like the feedback is very nice from everyone, but I feel like that's also because I sing it with a confidence. Like I do feel, what the words are, because they relate to what I was feeling and what I was going through at the time, that I wrote it. Whether I'm singing it in English, Italian, Spanish, French, Dutch, whatever, like if it's a song that I wrote, I'm gonna feel it. I always write from the heart. There isn't anything that I've ever written that I was just like, I'm just gonna write this to get this out there and toss it. Like all of my songs have, they're all sentimental to me. So I do, whether I'm singing in English, Spanish, Italian, like I feel it all, because music is a part of who I am.
Yeah. What can listeners expect from this album versus the last album?
I want to say um, that this album came more from a place of love. Like
Mm.
the last album. And so I have a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Stefania Johnson, and her husband, Darren Johnson. We went to dinner shortly after the album 3 was released, and we were talking about, that project. And her husband looks at me and he goes, this album is nice and all, but he's like, this was your therapy. This was practice work. He's like,
Yes.
your next album is going to be where it's at. He's like, because you're going to show up with such a presence that people are going to know who you are. And I knew that working on my last album was very therapeutic for me. I was still learning how to compose, and make musical arrangements. And it's very hard, even still, like
A
every
lot of
day I'm
work, yeah.
learning. But like this new project, like, yeah, it was a little therapeutic for me, but it came more from a place of love. Like the last album had how many sad songs and songs about being broken and wanting to die. And
The
this album is
remedy.
just like, yeah, this album is very like, it's just so healing, and I felt like working on this healed me. Like working on my last album, it was therapy for me, but I can't say that it healed me. And Bella Luna, literally, it was just like such a healing process to work on this album. And it came from such a place of like love. Like I look at the songs, I'm like, I've never written so many love songs in my life. Like I feel like at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all want to love and be loved. And I'm known for being a freaking hopeless romantic. Um, and I feel like this song, like, I mean, this album definitely showcases that because, like, I'm trying to think, there's one, like, kind of breakup song, and it's called Lección Aprendida.
Mm.
And that was
Lesson learned.
yeah, and Lesson Learned was actually a song from my sophomore album that I did in English. And even like writing it in Spanish, like having to rewrite and change some of the lyrics around just so that it made more sense. And it was more advanced because the lyrics, even though they're translated, they're more like I wasn't writing from my 20-year-old self.
Yeah.
I'm writing as a 34-year-old man who's
Experience.
grown and had more experience and
So again,
learned.
I think the song it will be a healing song because if you learn the lesson, that means there's
Yeah,
hope in progress or it's progress. So,
yeah.
don't doubt yourself.
No, no, and I don't. I've gotten better at accepting the talent, and the skill. I was talking to my best friend the other day, and I was just like, people tell me all the time, like, how talented I am. They're like, oh my God, like, you do hair, you sing songs, you write music, you compose music, you do photography, you're a colorist,
You're
you
an
do this
artist.
and that. And like, I don't, like, I don't look at myself and be like, wow, Johnny, you're really talented. Like I don't even look at it like to me, I just love everything that has to do with art. Like I genuinely love everything that I do. And so like if I could do it forever, hell, I will. Yeah, I genuinely enjoy every artsy
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that I do.
I mean, you're definitely a performer. You can see it in your videos. You can see it when you take a picture. Your money well spent because whether somebody's buying let's say a photo from you or watching your videos or listening to your music, you can see that everything is the work is there. You're putting in the work and you continue to put the work rather than other artists. You invest in other artists, they don't give you that. They don't give
Yeah.
you, it's like, if you become an actor, you'll be great at it. Just because you look at it, your videos, you're selling it. You're selling the image. You're playing the role and you're playing it with passion. You're doing it as if it's your purpose, which it is, right?
Yeah.
And I find that so astonishing, because I sit and I'm always looking in the media. I'm always seeking new things. Who's out there? What potential? And that's what people lack: the passion, the purpose, that feeling that the enjoyment. You enjoy the work. You're living the work. And it takes more than writing a song. It takes more than you showing up for a video shoot or editing a picture. You need something behind that is unspoken of, right? And I think that's what you have every time I see either you're posting a video or you're creating art in a way. You can see that it's well documented.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was with the release of the album, I released a music video and it's track number 12 on the album. It's called Primer Amor, and it's like the first like love song, wedding song that I've ever put out, and I've always wanted one of those too. Um, it's like that's I would have to say that that's another favorite of mine from this new album, Primer Amor.
Wow. How many?
Yeah,
How big is the track list?
there are 13 songs.
Okay.
Yeah. So LJR is the last one. I wanted to end the album on like a bilingual note because from here on out, when I work on music, I'm not going to release just an English album anymore or just a Spanish album anymore. From here on out, it's going to be a little bit of both. And if I decide to throw 2 or 3 Italian songs in there, hey, I'm going to do it. But I want my music from now on to be very, very, very diverse. I don't want to put limits on myself and on my work.
Amen to that. I hear that. I feel like, you know, just listening to the song, you set me, but also hearing your story and creating Bella Luna. Like, can you describe or explain or, you know, put into words the best that you can, you know, some lessons you've been able to learn throughout this journey of creating Bella Luna?
Patience is virtue. And you know, people tell me that all the time. It's like, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, yeah, I've been working in this industry for 18 years already. 18 years I started recording music. When I was 14 years old, Jesus Christ, it's more than 18. Good Lord.
He sits back and like he just had an epiphany.
I started recording demos when I was 14 years old, and I used to show up at this guy's basement that had, you know, his little studio. I wonder how he's doing. And like I started squirrel. I started recording demos in church and whatnot. And it's just like, you know, working on this specific project, like I kept telling myself, I want this album out in June. I want this album out in June. It's got to be ready for the summer. I want it out in June. And then June came, well, May came, and I went through a breakup. I had to move, you know, the song Bella Luna that was written about something that was so important to me, like was no longer in my life. And it's like, you can plan for the things that you want for yourself in your life, but we need to accept that life is going to do whatever it wants to us, you know, and you just have to ride the waves and, you know, roll in any which direction that it's taking you and just go with it, you know, roll with the punches. Yeah. So if there's anything that I learned, is like, you know, you can plan for the things that you want all you want, but at the end of the day, it's not up to us. You know, God and this universe is going to do, you know, what they want to with us. And we just have to be, I don't want to say obedient because it sounds stupid.
Patient.
But yeah, but we have to be patient, you know, and remain vigilant and continue to work and be prayed up and remain hopeful that things are going to turn out the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah. Most of all, you know, being humble, because, you know, me and you, different industries, but same patience, going through the same thing. We're at that point in our careers that it can go either way, you know. And one of the things I've been able to learn is, you know, you're going to come to a point that like no one, you know, you're not going to be validated when you want it to be validated. It's going to happen, you know, when people decide or when you're no longer here, but it's not up to you. Yeah. And in that moment when it comes, you can't be like, you know, how do I say this, right? You can't be like, I did this, you know, like have that pride. You know, the best you can do is say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because people are going to do that for you. And you don't need to become that. And that's what's going to set you as an artist, as a person, as an individual aside from everybody else. That despite, backs were turned, doors were closed,
Mm.
non-believer, non-supporters, um, you stood there, you shrugged your shoulders, you dust them off, you took a deep breath, and you kept going. Because in the
In
long
life,
run,
you
yeah,
have to.
yeah,
In life, you have to. You have to keep going, and you can't stop.
yeah. I think you're one of the greatest talents that I've been able to been blessed to talk to, because I'm a student of the game. That's why I became a journalist. I like to explore, learn new things, try to understand what each, person's coming from. And, everything is the same. I think, everybody's depending on media or digital age, and you gotta get your feet on the ground again, and it's like knocking on doors like back in the day. And that's where you're really gonna find yourself, because you're a great person to talk to. You're a great person to have a relationship with, have fun. You're a great person to give advice to. And I think that's what more individuals like you need to do. Hit the ground and start from there, and watch you. Overnight, you're gonna be literally an overnight sensation, because it's real.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned your friend who was already and was signed. Her story, she's probably telling you that because it's not her. When you're signed, there's people putting money into you, and because they're putting money into you, they have control. So your essence, what once believed, is no longer there. If let's say pop, it's going high right now, that's what's selling, right? They're gonna want you to go to pop, because that's not who you are. And I think, you know I agree with her when she told you that, like, you're doing you're free. Like,
Yeah.
who's gonna tell you not to make a love song? Who's manipulating you to write something you don't want to? Exactly.
Nobody.
And I think that's what makes it beautiful. And especially this album Bella Luna, that it represents healing, but also life.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Another one, speaking of life, another one of my favorite songs on the album is track number, I think it's track 9. It's called Dáselo al Viento.
give it to
And
the give it
the
to the wind.
lyrics, yeah, just
Bro,
give it
you
to
got
the
these
wind.
names. You got these
And
names, bro. Like,
let me tell
wow.
you, this album is so like, I've never had such a poetic body of
Yeah,
work. Like
yeah.
every single song, like, so I was uploading the lyrics today to Music Match. I was
Hmm.
literally working on that from like 9 o'clock this morning till about 6 o'clock at night. And I'm like literally going, because you have to sync, you upload the lyrics and then you have to go into every individual song and like match the words that are coming out from the song to the lyrics, so that when people are listening to it on Spotify or TikTok or Instagram,
It says the same
it's like a
thing. It matches.
karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it matches as the song is being read. But I was looking at the lyrics today and I was just like, Johnny, you're a fucking songwriter. Like
Yes.
they're like so poetic and beautiful. And I say this as humbly as I can. Like I was looking at an artist, that released an album recently and they're on tour, and I wanted to see who wrote the song because I like the song on her album. There were 20 songwriters.
Wow.
20.
Yeah.
And I was just like, do you need 20 people to write one song? I mean, it's a good song. I'm not gonna knock it. But it's just like I write everything myself. And like
Hmm.
I don't want me as an artist, I don't want you to tell me how I feel. I don't want you to influence. People can inspire me to write based on what they go through, but like your words are not going to be my words.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
But going back to Dáselo al Viento, you know, the song is about like giving all of your hurt and all of your problems and all of your worries to the wind. And it talks about like the people who shit on you. Um, you know, the lyrics of the song, you know, to let go of the people who don't have any value in your life. You know, let them go. They mean nothing. You know, take them and all of the shit that they've dealt you and just give it to the wind. Let it go. Let the wind take it away and listen to the universe. You have to be strong and you have to move on. That, I don't know if you got to hear it yet. An amazing song. Amazing. And it's bachata also. This song I actually collaborated, funny, with a musician. His name is Alex Rivas, and he's in Miami, and he does loops. So he sells like guitar loops, piano loops, congas and stuff. And I came across his stuff one day online, and I was like, "Oh, he got bachata loops. I like this. Let me see what I could do with this." And so I was messing with it. I purchased it and I was messing with it. And then I added some piano and synthesizers, a nice bass line. And when I let my best friend hear the song after I had written it, recorded it, mastered it, and she's like, "Johnny, it's missing something." I said, "What do you mean it's missing something? I worked so hard on this." And she's like, "Donnie, it's like missing something. There's an instrument that's in like every bachata song and it's not in yours." I was like, "Really?" I said, "What is it?" So we go on Spotify and we put bachata mixes and we listen to like 4 different songs, and the instrument that is being played in these songs is called the guira. You know what that is, right?
The guiro.
The guiro.
Yeah.
So I went on Amazon.
Oh man, Guido. Yeah.
And I went on YouTube and I wanted to learn how to play the guira. Because if this, you know, this instrument is what the song needed, then I needed to be really good at it. So I go on YouTube and I'm typing in, you know, guira lessons. And one of the first videos that came up was this guy from Brazil, and his name is Murel Pontes. I hope I'm not butchering that. I'm going to tell you for sure what his name is, because this man deserves all the credit in the world. Okay, Murillo Pontes, or Murilo Pontes, Murilo. So I sent him a message the day that I ordered the guiro. And I said, "Hey, you know, I'm an artist from America." He's all the way in Brazil. And I'm working on my album. I have this song that's bachata and it's missing this instrument. I wanted to know if you would want to collaborate on this and, you know, let me know what your rate is. So he says, you know, send me the song. I'll listen to it. And, you know, if I like it, we'll work on it together. I sent it to him and his first thing was like, "Your voice." He's
That's
like,
it.
"You actually sing." And I was
That's
like,
the
"Yeah."
first thing. That's the first thing my wife said when I send her Bella Luna. That's the first thing she said.
I'm gonna tag on to that after I finish this story, because again, my squirrel brain. But so you know, he said that he wanted to collaborate on the song with me. He's like, "It's beautiful. I love the lyrics. Your voice is amazing." He says, "I can get the song, the guira, to you. I'll send you the WAV file in like 3 hours from now. I'll have it to you today." And I was like, "Perfect, let's do this." And he sent it to me, and it literally completed the song. Like, to me, it sounds more like a bachata song. And it's like you listen to it and it makes you want to move. But going back to what your wife said about Bella Luna. So lately when I have shows, I've been singing for a lot of people who don't know my name. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I sound like. And every time I bring my music to the DJs, I'm like, hey, so the first song I'm gonna sing is Bella Luna. I don't want them to introduce me or anything. Just play the track and then I'll talk afterwards. Like I don't even want them to hear what my voice sounds like
Yeah.
until I start singing. And with Bella Luna, it's like, everybody turns around as soon as the track starts to play because it sounds like such a beautiful lullaby. And then I start singing, and people are just like mind blown at what's coming out. I don't know if my face matches my voice. Apparently, I look short in pictures too. Because every time somebody sees me in person, they're like, yo, you're tall. Like, that's the first thing that comes out of people's mouths. But like, I love like the effect that this song has on like people who don't know me and don't know my music that have never heard of me before. Like it's just the most incredible song that I've ever put out. I love Bella Luna so much. And I titled, the album Bella Luna for that reason. Like it's just such a pretty song. Like I could hear it in a novela, on the radio. I could hear it like at the mall passing. It sounds like an elevator song. It sounds like it's just there's so many things that you can do with the song. Like it just sounds so pleasant to listen to. And then when that rhythm drops, you're like, oh, like it's just
I'm not.
it literally smacks you in the face because you don't expect it.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna start rapping at one point because it's so catchy. Like like it's different in a way that you wouldn't expect it. But then, like, it's a good. It's like it's good because it
Yeah,
matches. You get what I'm saying? Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It
thank
was amazing,
you.
man.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, album already out?
The album was dropped at midnight, September 8th. So it is out. Um, the music video dropped the same time.
Wait,
Primer
today?
Amor. Yeah, today. The album came
Wow.
out today. You are the first interview, man.
I'm moving up. Well, thank you so much for honoring me. I do appreciate it,
Yeah.
man. That's dope. I'm honored.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was gonna leave to New York tonight because I've got some upcoming work out there, and I was like, no, I want to do this interview. Like the album came out today. Like I don't want to work, and I did work, on musical stuff.
Yeah,
But like I just wanted to relax and absorb it and take it in and listen to the album, like
yeah.
front to back. And I've never been more happy with any project that I've ever put out. Like, and I've been excited about other projects, and I felt like they were good, but like this, it tops them all.
It's
This album is
satisfying.
absolute, yeah, it's so satisfying and so the quality. I sang last week at an event and I did two songs from this new album and one song from my last album. And after I finished, the DJ tells me, he's like, yo, so I don't mean to knock your older stuff. He's like, but the quality, like you could hear the difference and sound. Like your new stuff is so superb. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like I really appreciated that. The fact that I produced them both, but at the same time, I produced the last one and I was learning.
Hmm.
Now I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but like I do know more of what I'm doing now. Like, all these buttons and gadgets are like making more sense to me.
They're useful for something, not just not
Yeah,
just to be there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's amazing. It sounds like you had so much fun making this album. The experience alone. The ups and downs, and
It
to
was
finally be out, man.
And it was a lot of both. It was a lot of up and it was a lot of down. And when I was high, it was really high. But when it was low, like it was like gut wrenching, gut wrenching. And like now I feel like I'm at a place where there's balance.
Yeah,
I'm separating myself from relationships, from drama, from nonsense, and I just like I have a saddle on, and like I know where I want to go and I know where I'm going to be, but right now I'm just enjoying the moment, and I'm
Yes.
living in the moment and just taking all of this in because it's all part of life. Like the good is going to come and it's going to be really good and the bad is going to come and sometimes it's going to be really bad, but it's like that's the beauty of being alive. Like you take in all of the emotions, and what better way to process all of these emotions than with music?
Yes. Maturity.
Yeah. Oh
Maturity's
yeah.
kicking in.
Yeah.
And I only speak because, I just recently turned 34, and I don't know what it was that something just clicked. It just clicked for me. And, ironically, I've always been the way that I am.
Yeah.
It was just like I have to get to that place so that, everything can be balanced out. And I think, maturity, finally understanding, getting to the place, and like, you know, things are going to happen regardless.
Absolutely.
It's not your responsibility to pick and choose. It's your, responsibility to live a good life. One thing I've continued to preach is that, you know, especially what's happening in the world, we need definitely music like yourself that's feed the soul. I don't think
Thank
music
you.
out there right now is feeding the soul because it's not feeling mine. Like I still have your track list of three in my phone, because I'm very selective and picky when it comes to music, because I need something that's gonna help me digest the emotion I'm feeling. I don't get that with music nowadays. It's very disappointing, right? And you need that to just live a good life in general. Just live a good life. You know,
Yeah.
this world has become aware that everything is smoke and mirrors. Not everything is real. Not everything you see is shiny or it's gold, and you have to do the best that you can to live a good life, so that the day you punch out, you have no regrets, and with the understanding standing that failure is not a bad thing. It's something you need to go through to understand, and only through walking that path of failure you're gonna able to see and accept that it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Bella Luna
Yeah.
out now.
Bella Luna. Oh, it just sounds so good on my tongue. Bella Luna. You were talking about like music that that's satisfying to the soul. Like before I'm anything, before I'm a music producer, before I'm a singer, before I am a composer, an engineer, before I am a photographer, before I do any of this stuff,
Yeah.
I am a songwriter.
Mm.
That is my thing. And like when I listen to music or when people send me stuff to listen to, the first thing that I look for are the lyrics. I want to make sure that what I'm listening to is going to be satisfying to my soul. And in the same light, I want to make sure that when I release music, I want to release stuff, that everyday people can relate to because life is fucking hard.
Yes.
People go through things all the time that we don't talk to other people about. And it's just like, I want people to listen to my music and be like, I want them to feel, I want them to feel, but I want them to heal, of
Hmm.
course, but I want them to feel and I want them to know, like, you're not the only person that went through that. Like, people go through things in life and it's okay to break down. It's okay to have your moments, but you also need to know at the same time, like, you have to pick yourself up, pick up those pieces, and
Yeah.
you got to build yourself and keep it moving. Because life, if there's one thing about this life that we're living, as much as we want the world to break down and cry with us, this world doesn't stop moving for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching this interview, and it was a kid who plays on Twitch, and he said, he was like, isn't it crazy that when, in a game, somebody else dies, the game keeps going. But when you die, it's over.
Mm.
And, that's how life is. Somebody you care about, you had a relationship, a friend, something happens, they pass away, your life continues. It's when your life, when you stop, that's when you have to worry. Like I was driving I had the honor of driving my one of my little sisters to her dorm in college, right? And she was explaining why she moved from here to here. Long story short, she wanted to feel and be in a place where it was comfort, people wise, like her. And I think you know me thus far, right? Like I quickly asked, you know, do you care what people think of you? Because I'm unable to understand that. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. And she was able to explain, and she asked me why, and it was like, like I'm telling you, I don't understand that. I care about how I look to myself. I care that if I walk a certain way and it's not a best representation of myself, that makes me angry. That makes me depressed. I care that, let's say if I had a long day and I stink, I need to take a shower. That's how I care about myself, and that's how I'm able to execute, business wise or financial wise or family wise. I think self-love, it's something that's becoming a myth. I think a lot of people say it. I think, a lot of people promote it, but I also think there's a lot of people that don't live it. And what I'm trying to say is that when I heard this album, the songs I had the honor to listen to, I felt some type of self-love, and I compared I did a comparison from your third album to this album, and I just feel like this album, it's so good is because you found love within yourself, whether and you found love in yourself, but you understood how to love yourself, but also love other people. Like you said, you had to let your dog go, and that shit hurt. Like there's people that have no one, and their animals or their companion, and when they're gone, they're gone. And
Mhm.
that's not fake love, and not to say humans are better than animals or better. It's not that. It's when love is real, right? When love is real and you understand how to love yourself, and you have to leave something that you love go, you know, that means you really love them. Because if you really love them, you let them go to be happy. Because if you're not happy, right? Like it's, misery loves company.
Mhm.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is I felt it listening to your words. You have reached a level of maturity, reached a level of understanding, reached a level of executing what you prepared yourself for, which is you put in the work, you put in that work. Well, the proof is in the pudding. Everybody go check out, go buy, go support, Bella Luna right now. I can't say I can't sell you on something that's great. You just gotta listen to at this point.
Thank you.
Where can we find Bella Luna at?
It's on every single digital streaming platform, whether you want to purchase it or streaming. It is even like free. I literally, when I was submitting it, they give you the option if you only want it, in places where you could collect royalties, or if you want to do like free services too. I put this album absolutely everywhere. So wherever it is that you choose to listen to your music, even if it's illegal, it's there. It's everywhere,
There you
everywhere,
go.
everywhere, everywhere.
There you
Absolutely
go.
everywhere.
There you go. One last question before we go. If you had to give one message, one piece of advice, one life lesson to someone that, obviously is going through something, and by listening to your album, it helps them overcome or or turn that page and move on to the next chapter, which I think this album does the trick. What advice would you give him?
Dáselo al viento. Give it to the wind. Give it to the wind. And I want to dedicate that. If there's anybody watching this podcast right now, I know that there people are. I want to dedicate my song Dáselo al viento to you because, like, again, life is so full of trying times. And as much as we want to have it right, we're not always going to have it right. Life is going to give us the cards that we're dealt, regardless of what we want. And, sometimes it's just really hard, but you got to pick yourself up. And the things that you can't control, just listen to the universe and give it to the wind. Let go of everything that worries you and everything that burdens you. And, find the strength within yourself, pick yourself up and just keep pressing forward because life stops for no one.
Boom. There you have it, guys. Before we go, Silvester, tell the people they can find you.
Why you gonna do me like that? I can't keep up with all this social media. I was talking to someone that I was hiring to run my TikTok because I cannot, you want to follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Twitter, Instagram. What's the Snapchat? I hardly use that, but I got it. There's just what's next, Dio? What's next?
I don't know, man. There's always something out there, something new. You're never gonna keep up.
My main accounts are Instagram and Facebook. At Silvestry, Silvestry.
Boom. Make sure you go support him. Go get his new album. Go buy it. Go show him how much of a great job he did, because he did. And go follow me. Easy. Only one place. If anything, too, go to my channel, DIOTALK TV on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Go on. Follow me at Mr. Dreams by Obtain on Instagram. I'm on Threads. And have a good night, guys.